times. I'm gonna hit this with a second coat of paint. I've already finished the top, which you've seen in the time lapse that we put that I put up here earlier. So now we're just trying to get second coats on things. I just want to check, see how everything looks, if there are any issues. But really, I think that's probably going to be the only thing. And then we're going to pull all the drawers out of here, take it upstairs, start the installation process. Let's go. Well, these are starting to look a whole lot better. We're gonna let that dry. Gonna come back here and probably hit it with another coat. I like lots of thin coats. Gives you great coverage over time. They're looking good, so I'm excited about that. Great coverage. We're gonna get this top all finished up. I'll show you that next. Together here, I've already got things clamped, adjusted. I've got that face evened out like I want it. I put in the backing. As you saw earlier, I've got to put in the backing down here on this wall. And that's really so that I can get the gap between the unit and the wall uniform. So once that gap is uniform, then whatever I put to cover that up, whether that, I'm thinking about ripping down a piece of baseboard here, and putting that up against the wall and then caulking that seam. Then what that does is the reveal. So for example, let's assume that this is what I'm going to cover it with. The gap between the wall and the unit isn't skewed like this so that your reveal looks like that. You can see there's a little bit more covered, a little bit less covered. So you have a uniform reveal, okay, top to bottom. Now, that's something that I would be super picky at, and I would look at kind of the craftsmanship or what was the intent. Now, these obviously are the cheapest material that I could get, the easiest way that we could make some built-ins. So from a craftsmanship standpoint, they're nothing crazy, but what they are is a cheap solution to a problem, and I want to make it look as nice as possible. So let's get to work on that. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Okay, so I got the bases secured with each other. I got those secured to the wall. The next step is to clear all of this out, get that top in here. Let's measure that top. Let's take a look at how it looks now that we've got everything set against the wall. Everything's nice and square. We're gonna do some measurements while we're up here. I'm gonna have it lip over the edge just a little bit down here, so it goes just past that. It's gonna come out this way just past that, which is why I've got all this lumber here. So what I was thinking about is some of this is just some cedar and stuff. I can mill it down to the exact specs that I want. I've got a decorative piece of oak going down the middle of those two pieces of pine right now, and what I'd like to do is add a decorative piece in the back. And that'll give me that space that I don't currently have right now. It's not quite big enough. I didn't buy it with that intent originally. What I was gonna do was all these drawer faces with that. The last thing that I've got to do is get all of these drawers in, get everything set. I've got one more drawer that I need to work on downstairs. It doesn't have a bottom in it yet, but I am going to get that set. What I'd like to do is get everything wrapped up and done today so that we can get some clothes in here and get back into this closet. Cool. We're set up out here in the garage. I've got everything set right here. We're just gonna quick get a straight edge set on that and run my circular saw across that. We're then gonna route that edge. Then we're gonna move over here to the router, to the joiner and the planer. And when we're at the joiner and the planer, what we're gonna be doing is taking and milling down that cedar so it's uniform. And I'm just gonna nail that in all the way across. I'm not even gonna join it, butt it, anything like that. It's really decorative and it'll be fine just sitting back there. So let's get going. So what I was thinking with these, those were the remnants from the end of the board. I just took them, ripped them down to 2-inch pieces, and I kind of like that pattern. It's already staying the same color. Let's go lay those out in the back there and see if that's going to work out. What I would do is I'd come along, glue it, nail it all the way across. So I'd give you a uniform back. Let's check that out. Wow, that makes a huge difference. Let me turn the fan off. When I do projects in the shop, I end up at some point inevitably having a huge amount of dust in here. So I just take the old leaf blower and I open the bay doors and I move that outside. And now you can see I can move stuff around easily. I can reorganize. It feels so good. So now I've kind of got that outer edge. I've got, you know, a setup with my chop saw over there. I've got joiner, planer here. Got my bandsaw, table saw, lathe, drill press, anything you want. I got the Shopsmith over here, and I can get those doors closed. I can do whatever right now. So let's even see what it looks like. Close that door. Look at that. Doesn't change any of the light because I got lights directly above the door, but it is 65 degrees out today. I'm going to enjoy that as much as possible. So I changed my plan for that back edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pieces that I ripped down. You can see the oak is there in the middle there, that board. And I'm just going to butt them end to end. I'm going to take my, you can see it over there. I'm going to take my compressor, my air nailer. I'm going to take that upstairs and just shoot it all the way across. I'm going to glue it and nail it. It'll be rock solid. Plus it'll complement the top that's already on there. It's just a different pattern. So I'm excited about it. Progress is awesome. I'm going to haul one more drawer up there. This next drawer that I got standing over here, I'm going to cut out some of the plywood that I got, get that set up, get it glued, nailed, and painted, and then installed. And I think we'll be ready to vacuum that thing out and use it by the end of the day. Have a great one, guys. Enjoy the rest of this. Delicious pork butt that we cooked the other night. That ends up being lunch today. Okay, just ate lunch. Did a consult, looked at the closet and some of the other pieces in there. I think I'm going to take this piece of oak that I found and I'm going to mill it down a little bit thinner than this. I'm also going to cut it down and then trim it to shape. These are the actual 3 pieces that I'm going to utilize. I think I'm going to trim it down to this width, and then I'm going to take probably another 1/4 inch out of that. And that is going to go right on the front of that. And then I think I'm pretty well set up to go upstairs and start nailing all of those pieces together. I've got everything ready for the drawer pulls. I actually put the first 2 in already on that. And then I think we're really left to cut some of this plywood back here to make the base for that last drawer that's sitting down here. A little bit of paint, some rails. And I think we're just about done. Let's get to work here. Hope you enjoy the time lapse. Things are actually coming along. So I've got some drawer pulls on here. Top's not secured yet, but I've got everything finished. I finished up that last drawer. This is gonna be a conundrum. I screwed up, but we're gonna get that in. I'm not too worried about that. I'm gonna put some rails in there. These pieces of oak here, I'm gonna move this so you can see those. Okay, these pieces of oak, I'm gonna put those right underneath here all the way across. And that's just gonna give it a little accent piece underneath there, just underneath the lip. They're nice looking pieces of oak. I'm excited about that. So I'll get the camera set, get you guys ready for the rest of this, and we'll just continue with the install. what I want to do with this top. There's a few things to consider when thinking about what we're doing here. Number one is how it looks when it's finished. Obviously, that's something to consider. But really what I'm struggling with is how is this finish trim gonna look right down along here? The real answer to that is probably no one will ever notice or see. Same thing with some of this finish trim in the back. The question that I'm struggling with is, do I just, boom, tack it in? The other question is, what's the holding power of the MDF? I think when you're gluing two faces of MDF, which is medium density fiberboard down, it's awesome, but putting a screw in it, you're really putting a screw in compressed paper, and there's not a whole lot of holding power there, and so that is what makes me just a touch nervous. And one of the other thoughts that I had was, do I do what I did with the rest of this and put some plywood underneath and screw up through the plywood into the top? Again, my question is, what is that holding power at the top gonna be like? I think these are the screws I had at 1 5/8". Yeah. So 1 5/8", if you take a look at this, you know, that is going through, whoops, going through the plywood. And then does that give me enough to get through? Yeah, I think that does. And that, now my real question is, does it go too far? And I don't think so. I think if let's take a look at this. Yeah, I'm ready. All right, let's take a look at this cross section here. Does the screw go through both of those? See that? And it doesn't go too deep. It'll actually catch and pull that down. I think that I'm gonna try that. Wish me luck. I'm trying not to screw this up. Right now, but what I'm trying to do is put together this decorative, I don't even know, it's like kind of how you build a chair rail where you got a bunch of different pieces, but I'm just taking this oak that I've milled down here and I'm nailing it on here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue and nail. I even put some backing in here. Wish me luck. I have no idea how this is gonna go. So you can see that piece of oak, which is a couple different pieces that I scabbed in here. underneath. Pretty good. Like if you go in here and take a look, those are 45s. Okay. And put it together. It kind of left these areas where there's some openings. It's got a lot of character. I like that. Same thing, another 45 there. And then square at the end. Just little tiny nail holes that I'll probably go through and fill with nail hole filler. Obviously another 45. Pretty clean joints. I love how it looks. Really dresses things up, I think. And you can see we're really close. And the only reason I haven't put those top drawers in there is just because I'm using that. This is the last piece down there that needs to be done. Otherwise, I'm pretty much just going to declare this complete and ready to be used. I actually anchored the top and everything now, so it's ready to go. Last video that I am going to shoot in regards to this. We're pretty much done here. I've got the top done. I've got this front edge completed. Everything's glued, nailed down. Drawers are pretty well full with different stuff. You can see that we put some spacers, some organizers in there as well. And honestly, it's functioning like it's supposed to be functioning. I'm missing one drawer back there. It's assembled, everything's done out there. I just have to put that in. So literally, I would say that at this point, I count this as a success. We're done. It was a fun project. It was pretty interesting to, I think, learn about building cabinets again and thinking about like spacers and different things that you don't think about. There are definitely things that I would do differently next time, but right now I'm happy with the product. To me, function is way more important than form, okay? And the fun thing for me is that some of these pieces of oak were milled out of, you know, trees that are in the neighborhood around here that I've pieces of wood that I've taken and cut down and was able to utilize all the different things I've got in the shop. So thank you guys for joining me. Look forward to the next project. Have a good one.